Hello and welcome to Morris LC Rescue. Well, to be honest, this is the last type of video I ever expected to be making on this channel after only 3 episodes. But the response from you guys out there has been absolutely mind-blowing. I'm up to just over 100 personal messages today on my Messenger account from all over the world, which simply blows me away. I'm going to try to endeavour to read all the messages. I've got through probably 80% of them. I just physically haven't got the time to answer everybody's questions. So what I'm going to do, there is some commonality in those questions. I'm going to distill it all down and just pick 10 questions, or the 10 most common questions that you're asking, and try and answer those for you as best I can. The messages are coming in from all over the world. I've had Canada, America, Scotland, Ireland, England, certainly quite a few from Australia and New Zealand. But as I say, I'm just completely and utterly humbled and amazed. The other thing I wanted to add too, certainly for our American friends, is please don't try and send money. I'm not asking for any monetary gain on this channel. It's just done for the pure love of working on Morris vehicles. I know you guys do like to donate to channels, but in this case, look, I feel that I would be ripping you off if I did something like that. So look, if you really want to give away some money, give it away to a charity of your choice and help support a good cause. But for now, yeah, please keep your money in the bank. So the kettle's on and the cup of tea is made. I've got some chocolate digestives here, and I'm ready just to launch into these questions now. So probably the number one question that I've got on my list here is, why do I love Morris vehicles so much? Well, it's a bit hard to explain, but look, I've been around British vehicles certainly in my teen years and early 20s. Fell in love with minis back in the day, and the reason for that was you could go into any junkyard in Australia and basically they would be full of dead or dying minis. So for me, it was a cheap source of parts and availability of spare parts. As a young apprentice, you don't tend to have a lot of money in your pocket, so you go for vehicles that you can easily get parts for and maintain yourself, and a Mini certainly ticked all those boxes back in the day. From there, look, there was a bit of a hiatus with working on cars. You know, sort of life is what happens while you're busy making other plans, but obviously later in life I was able to get more involved again with restoration, and yeah, sort of rekindled that love affair with Morris cars and trucks in this case. The vehicles that I particularly enjoy obviously are the Morris LC3s, and the reason behind that is simply the fact that, you know, I've come from a background of machine automation and guidance systems and complex automated systems, and for me it's kind of great to get back to basics and back to the roots. And I mean, the reality is, in a Morris commercial vehicle, they are pretty basic, and there's something really enjoyable about that. So one of the next most common questions on the list is about our 2 dogs who appeared just very briefly in the first video. We've got quite a few personal messages there asking for the name of the dogs and what breed they are. Well, we've got a boy and a girl. They're 2 little whippets, and Hayley is the elder in the relationship, and she's roughly about 10 human years. And Rocky, who is the boyfriend, I guess, he's around about 6, give or take. We're not sure. He's a rescue dog, so we don't know the exact history on him, but yeah, very, very loving animals. You will see them appear from time to time, especially when we're in the shed and the fire's on, because if you've owned a whippet, you know that they tend to sleep for about 23.75 hours in a day, and you're lucky if they're active for 15 minutes. So when the weather's cold, They don't like anywhere better than being in front of the fire curled up asleep. So don't expect a lot of action out of them. So one of the other questions asked was, where did we get Olive Oil from? So at the moment, our truck Olive Oil, she's actually one of 5 trucks that we own, is going through a major restoration. She hasn't been on the road, as best we can tell, for about 30 years, give or take. It seems to be a commonality with these trucks. They've all been off the road for 30 years. And she's having a major rebuild. We're about, I'd say, probably better than halfway through at the moment. And we're just about to start working on the body of the truck and fixing some of the rust and getting all that sorted. We'll absolutely be taking you on that journey as we progress. There is a bit of a special coming up in the next couple of weeks with me pulling her engine down again and just doing some inspections and a little bit of work to that prior to us putting it back into the chassis frame. So yeah, look, we are really, really looking forward to sharing the rest of her journey with you, and we'd love you to come along for the ride and yeah, be part of it. We've been asked if we're going to be doing more how-to videos, and absolutely that's on the cards. We've got so many projects on the go at the moment, and we're busy trying to film a lot of the outdoor stuff. Now, obviously, if we're outdoors, we're not indoors working on things. So we're going to be mixing it up a bit. There has been quite a few PMs asking for more recovery type videos. So I've got to be careful and just meter the content a little bit, because some guys and girls will possibly turn off at the how-to stuff. But personally, I think it's really important that we try and find that balance and get a good mix of both working on these vehicles and also showcasing some of the other projects that are out there and happening at the moment, because there's some wonderful restorations going on around Tasmania, and every one of these vehicles that gets back on the road is just a victory. You know, it's great to see these old trucks and these old cars out running around, and you see the smiles that they bring to people's faces. I mean, kids connecting with these old vehicles, and a lot of the time, these project cars, they're actually a conduit for connecting families as well. You know, grandchildren helping grandfathers, sons helping fathers, daughters helping fathers. I mean, and it's just a wonderful thing to get involved with. And a few of you are asking about the tools I have in my workshop and how I've actually come by all those tools. Look, there's no secret to it. It's pounding the pavement at flea markets and garage sales and swap meets, and just very slowly accumulating the parts that you need. Certainly in Australia and in Tasmania, I find the BSF stuff is getting harder and harder to find. But that doesn't mean we give up looking. You know, you sort of get those palpitations when you walk up to the little store with all the old tools at the local flea market, and you know, you're there going right to the bottom of the box of spanners hoping to find that one BSF gold spanner in there. But yeah, look, it's my tools I've accumulated over a lifetime, and I also make a lot of tools. So you know, if there's something I need for a particular job that I haven't got, oftentimes I'll try and make it myself and see if I can do something that way. But yeah, definitely garage sales, swap meets and flea markets, still one of the best places to keep an eye out for old tools. And you get to haggle, which is the best part, you know, never pay full price. Never pay full price. Some of you have asked questions about getting spare parts for these Morris trucks. Well, depending on exactly what truck you have, it could either be very easy or very hard. Realistically, I've sort of fallen into LC3s, mainly because they just kept dropping onto my radar in the strangest of places. But for me, again, you know, I will always be looking for LC3 parts, you know, in the corners of sheds and under tarpaulins, and you know, they pop up in the most amazing places, and the people that you meet as well too. Oftentimes they may not have a truck, but they may have a few parts left over in a shed, or And let's be honest, they're not making a lot of these parts anymore. So it's, you know, you really, if you see it, you probably need to negotiate and grab it if you can. The other major benefit we have here in Australia is, of course, Brad Dunn and his Vintage Truck Supplies. Brad kicked off his business full-time just over 12 months ago now, and has grown from strength to strength. But he's actually remanufacturing a lot of parts for the Morris commercial vehicles that haven't been available for years and years. I know our friends in Britain possibly have access to new old stock for some of these vehicles, but it's great to be able to ring Brad up and say, hey Brad, I need this, I need that. And you know, if he doesn't have it on the shelf, he may have it out the back hiding on a truck. He's got quite a large collection of trucks that he wrecks parts of. So for anybody, certainly here in Australia and New Zealand and in England, definitely a valuable resource, and somebody who is very, very knowledgeable in all things Morris commercial. Well, I also seem to have received quite a few comments on my flannelette shirts. Look, we live in Tasmania and it does get a little bit cold down here. A cold winter's day for us in the morning would be anything from -1 to -3 in the area where we live. And it's not uncommon to get frosts. Obviously, if you're living on the coast of Tasmania, it's a little bit warmer. And if you're in the central highlands of Tasmania, then yeah, you're probably used to snow. But look, the shed's cold, it's not insulated. That's why we've got the fire running most of the time. And to be honest, I'm certainly looking forward to spring this year. And just some slightly warmer temperatures. It has been pretty cold this year and pretty wet as well too, which has made life fairly interesting. Some of you have asked why in the opening credits I refer to Tasmania as the South Island. Well, it's kind of a Tasmanian in-joke, and it's really, we refer to mainland Australia as the North Island and Tasmania as the South Island, and it's kind of like an independence thing. You know, we don't like to be too closely linked to mainland Australia, and this is our way of keeping a little bit of separation. There's been a few questions coming through about the possibility of us engine swapping in some of our trucks in upcoming episodes. Look, the simple answer, guys, is we won't be doing that. If you're waiting to see an LS swap into a Morris vehicle, then potentially at the risk of losing you as a viewer, this is probably the wrong channel for you. There's 101 channels out there now doing V8 and LS swaps, and you name it, you can see engines swapped into trucks and cars. It's really not what the core of this channel is about. We want to enjoy these old engines as vintage engines. Yeah, they're not going to do 100 plus Ks an hour or 100 miles an hour. But you know what? That's actually one of the enjoyable things about them. You know, as you get older, you actually enjoy slowing down a bit and looking out the windows. To be honest, it's not all about noise and rip, tear, bust. You know, these trucks were from a different age, but there's actually something magical about going slow enough to actually see what's going on outside. So yeah, simple answer, sorry, no V8 swaps. The last question that we had on the list is it possible to let some of you guys know when and where we're going to be filming? Well, the truth is, we really don't know from week to week. When these opportunities pop up on our radar, we're generally pretty quick to go out there and get the footage and try and put some content together for you. We are definitely at a stage now where we're building up our content, and you'll see a lot of that in upcoming episodes. However, yeah, look, maybe down the track, certainly for things like swap meets, you know, if you see me there, by all means, please come up and say g'day. Also too, if you see us out filming around Tasmania, never be afraid to come up and say g'day. I'm not going to bite. And look, I really enjoy hearing your restoration stories and hearing about the journeys that you're on. And yeah, never feel that you can't come up and say g'day. I love a chat. So by all means, if you see me out there, come and say g'day. Trying to get the fencing done. I've got my little sidekick here, Mr. Poopy. Okay. Just won't leave me alone. It's like having a little dog.
You are a little monkey, Mr. Poopy.
Well, we probably should have called him Houdini rather than Mr. Poopy, because he's out under every gate and through every fence now, trying to get to me and give me a hand around the place. He's lucky to be alive, this little fella, and we're lucky to have him. He's a great little lamb. Well, I hope that's answered some of the questions that you had. I'm sorry if I couldn't directly answer your particular question. But yeah, look, please keep those messages coming in. And I know a lot of you are a little bit unfamiliar with YouTube, especially the older guys. But if you click the thumb that's on the bottom of the screen when you're viewing our videos, that certainly helps our data within YouTube. And it also gives us a pretty clear indication of whether you like what we're doing. By all means, if it's not your cup of tea, then don't click the like button. But yeah, any data you can provide us, whether it's through comments or subscribing or through clicking that like button, helps give us feedback and let us know whether we're providing you with stuff that you actually want to see. All right, guys, until next time, enjoy your restorations, safe travels, and bye for now.